sessions in Indianapolis?
In college, I did. Yeah. Yes.
What's about this situation here that just kind of made it a fit in your mind?
Coach. Immediately. From watching Detroit, playing against them, my family rooting for them forever. Since Campbell been here, I feel like I knew a lot about them just from, I feel like they're widely covered. I'm a guy that I love to work hard. I love to improve. I love to be coached. I'm really big on just trying to be the best version of myself every single day, and I feel like this is an environment that's super conducive to that, especially just talking with my agent, talking with some guys I play with like Pat O'Connor. It just really kind of spoke to, well, this is the type of guy you are, this is the type of team that is. So I feel like it was a good fit. And I'm ready to just add some value and learn as much as I can and just get better every day, even if it's 1%. Yeah.
You said your family roots to the Lions. Is that a Texan thing with?
No. Of course, my family is Texans fans, but my grandma who since passed used to just talk about the Lions, just because I think they were on Hard Knocks one year, and I think a lot of people fell in love with the team, so my family just knew a little bit about that. And anytime they were playing, uniforms are cool, players are cool, so, and it's grit, you see it on the side of the building, you see it on people's hats. You definitely can tell mid-game going against them, that's what they're about, from their wide receivers to their offensive linemen, to the way they play defensive special teams. So that's something that I was like, man, like, if there's a whole building of people like that, I'd love to be there, And so it was an easy choice for sure. It's one of those things where talking to my agent, it's like, it's not like other situations I may have had where maybe it was an easier path to the field, or an easier path to maybe being the number one guy on a unit or something like that. But he's like, oh, they got some players over there. I'm like, well, that's good. I want to be around guys who are attacking the day the way I attack the day. And so excited about that for sure.
Yeah. Playing against Detroit last year, just what did you learn about in that experience?
Shoot. Man, it was like they would change personnel. They bring like extra linemen in. They would, have a receiver lead blocking for a running back. Got some route. They had some route concepts that I hadn't really seen all year. It seemed like they just threw everything at you at every point, and everybody was on 100 miles per hour. You just really don't see that every day from a league of West Coast offense and maybe huddling for a real long time and getting out in the formation and just saying hut. Or you might have those teams that just do 10 motions and just run the same run play over and over again. And, I felt like Detroit, it was like the whole game. It's like, man, like, got to adjust. And then it was, and little things, like little things like just, run play going away and the receivers, like, really just trying to block the mess out you. And it's like, bro, like, but, yeah, it just even from a special teams perspective, like they got defensive linemen on the field, doing their thing. You got, running backs and safeties all just, it just seemed very holistically intense per se. It definitely, you definitely felt the difference in play style, attitude, approach from Detroit to another team you would play the following week or the previous week for sure, yeah.
How much do you get the sense that people around the league are talking about Detroit as a place they want to go play, especially if they feel like their mindset is kind of attuned to what's going on here?
Yeah, I think that, I got text messages from family members, from high school coaches and stuff saying like, hey, like, congrats on, being part of a contender. And I think that's the way it's widely seen. There's probably only, 4 or 5 teams you can say that about confidently, objectively. And I feel like this is definitely one of those places. And it's a place that I think is open to innovation, open to playing the guys who maybe deserve to play, open to putting the best guys on the field, and seem very transparent about everything. It's very hard to find a building full of authenticity from, the head coach to the coordinators and, and having a lot of former players, they seem to understand that as well, having my meetings with them, as coaches. And they're, we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to tell you what it is. And there's guys that have been around the league for a while that know how some of it can be business, but it's like when I'm being coached, this is not a business. When, we're talking about how we did on Sunday, it's not a business. This is, we're a team and we want to win. And so being in a building where it seems like everybody is on that type time, I think that a lot of guys can appreciate that and want to be here. Yeah, so.
Stuff that players discuss, in the locker room, I guess, like, if they got to the point, like, hey, I've got to go to another team, what teams would you want to go to? And if that's the case, is Detroit kind of commonly coming up in those conversations?
I absolutely think so, but I definitely got the sense if you're maybe a year 10 guy looking to go somewhere and relax, this is probably not the organization. So when guys are complainatory in the locker room, they're probably not the type of guys that want to pull up to this joint after, But yeah, I think if you want to go somewhere and work, and, I can only talk so much about it because I haven't, been in it, but that's definitely what I've gotten from the coaching staff. It's definitely what I've gotten from the players that I know that play here. Just excited to add some value, for sure.
Dave Fitt, the special teams coach here, has spoken really highly of you in the past. Wondering what kind of connection or relationship you might have with him, and have you guys communicated at all before, during, or since he signed here?
I don't think that I definitely talked to Coach Phipps today. Got to go up there, have a great conversation with him. Actually started to get coached up by him a little bit, which was cool. Got to ask him a couple questions, got to hear from me a little bit. But yeah, it's just about connection. I mean, I didn't know of him until, kind of we were about to play them and stuff like that, and got to studying the coach and, the opponent and stuff like that. But I think that where we can relate a whole lot is energy. That's what I saw that from him when I met with him. And also that's what I've been hearing about him as well. So, I'm a high energy guy. I'll play with high energy, high energy in the meeting room, stuff like that. But not everybody loves that. But if that's what I'm saying. It just seems like it's matching up at every phase for me as far as, I think I'm really going to enjoy working here, and getting better here. So yeah, I think he's going to be a huge part of that. Yeah.
Scrap for 3 seasons to carve out a defensive role in this league. You recognize the situation here with the depth chart. You kind of mentioned that already. Mm-hmm. Why were you okay with kind of resetting in that sense and starting and having to climb your way back up?
Yeah, I think that it's, for me, it's less about getting as many snaps as I can on a team versus wanting to be the best player that I can be. And I think that my mindset definitely shifted to that area when I got a lot of play time. Mindset definitely shifted to that area when I got my first shot at defense as a rookie, and to be honest, was not ready. And it was like, well, do I want to play every snap of this game? I want to be the best. I want to improve my game. I want to feel like I'm not good enough to play in the league. I want to feel like I'm one of the best on the defensive field if I'm touching the field on defense. And I think it's clear from a communication standpoint. I think it's also clear from a demonstration standpoint with Detroit that they're going to play the best 11 in the best situation on the best down versus, like specific to what's going on specifically on the field. And, you know, I got to see a little bit of that when I was in Indy as far as we played like a Lamar Jackson or something. I'd come in and maybe add to the blitz package or spy him or something like that. And so that's something that they said, you know, that they do here. And at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to compete. And if it's a situation where if I'm not getting a lot of play time on a great team, that's just inspiring for me to improve, you know, versus, you know, I can go to a team maybe not as good or with a team with a room that has a lot more question marks than this team, which I had, you know, some opportunities to do that. But, you know, I'm just excited about adding value here, about improving, about learning from some guys who are established, which is, you know, what has allowed me to even, like when I did play defense last season, when I did play defense and excelled, it was all due to the fact that I was able to study a guy like Zaire Franklin, and just watch his game, practice with him, move with him, see his habits, see his recovery habits, stuff like that. So when I got my opportunity, now I got 19 tackles in the game. And that was I give him more of the credit than I give, you know, any of the coaches I had there. Love those guys, but I give Zaire most of that credit just for demonstrating that for me on a daily basis, and even just being able to answer my questions and stuff like that. And, you know, and he talked about a couple of the linebackers here because, you know, they all train together and stuff, and they seem to be the same type of guys. And so for me, like, having that guy I can lean on, ask questions to, and like Anzalone, and even the developing, you know, talent around him. Barnes, you know, I think I went to the Senior Bowl with him. So being able to see his game grow and see him kind of capitalize on everything. Malcolm Rodriguez, I talked to him today, just told him I love his game, love watching him play. So, you know, I'm a guy that I think can learn from anybody, and excited to just be around those guys. They seem like-minded, you know, and even watching them on tape, they play like-minded. So excited about that for sure.
What's appealing about new defensive coordinator Calvin Shepard? He was playing linebacker in this league like 8 years ago. Like, what's appealing about playing for someone like that who has developed Barnes and Jack Campbell and really gotten more out of Anzalone these last couple of years?
Yeah. The biggest thing about a coach that used to be a player, I feel like you always a player, you know, and hearing the passion from him in the meeting room, with my meeting with him, hearing people talk about his passion, even we're having different conversations about variances and coverages and how it affects linebackers and versus the run versus the play action, and seeing very quickly that he understands what I'm talking about because he's done it, he's been in that situation, and he's also had to coach guys to perform in that same situation. He's like, nah, this is what we do. I'm like, oh, that makes all the sense in the world. He's like, duh, you know, and so, yeah, I mean, I told them in my last meeting that was probably one of the best meetings I've ever had, like, as a player, feeling very understood at my position, and having a guy in charge of the show defensively that understands what's going on from a physical standpoint. You don't always get that, you know. Rarely have I had that in my career. Rarely do you have that in coaching. It's part of this game, so excited about that for sure. That was definitely a tough meeting, yeah.
How would you describe your play style and what you're all about to someone who's not maybe not familiar?
Yeah, play style is definitely crash out. Play style is definitely relentless effort, doing what I have to do to make the plays to help the team win. Like, you know, whether that's setting up a play for somebody else, whether that's making a play myself, whether that's running through the fullback's face, whether that's playing fullback if you need me to. You know, just open to whatever to help the team win. And I think that growing up, and then, you know, growing up kind of up and down as far as my life is concerned, had a lot of things that were outside of my control happen to my family, in my family, and realized very early on that football and aspects of the game are very controllable as far as the work that you put in, as far as the way you respond to things that happen. That stuff you can control. And so for me, I found comfort in the game. You know, don't always say, nobody loves every aspect of the game. You know, so maybe you don't want to lift weights at 5 a.m, but find comfort in those controllables. And, you know, in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, I think it's verse 10 or verse 11, it says to do everything your hand touches, do with your full might. You know, because you don't have no more time in the grave. You know, there's no toil, there's no work, you can't do nothing after this. And so that really spoke to me, reading that as a young man who gave my life to Christ in 2019. And I think that I play with that. I think that that's shown by the way I prepare, even by the way I practice. And so, you know, hopefully I can earn that reputation here. And, you know, just be an asset for sure. But yeah, that's how I describe my play. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.